Hey up folks, just some thoughts on learning guitar and playing guitar and getting to the point where you feel that you're good enough. Does that ever really happen? I think if you ask any guitar player who's been playing for years, who's a pro, if they're ever happy with the playing and feel like they've learnt all they need to know, they haven't. Nobody has. This is the thing, it's like a game that never ends. It's like, you know, when you put a CD in the console for the PlayStation or whatever it is, that's finite. That ends. There's only so much that can be contained in that. This is why I tell kids, one of the problems with being a guitar teacher is kids just like, I say to them, this is the best toy ever. And then they go home and they play Call of Duty for 5 hours. If only they'd put that into their guitar practice. The thing is that guitar is the biggest game. So what we need to do is we need to have a strategy to win the game. And the strategy is a kind of a balance between technique and the physical challenges that you face, holding down chords, playing scales, all these different things that we have to put up here and then get out of these fingers. But then there's also the theory stuff as well that we don't need to use our hands for. And curiously, somebody in my group was saying, my Facebook group, which you should join, curiously someone was saying that they'd injured themselves and it was really hard not to pick up the guitar because they love it that much. And isn't that a great feeling? They were saying that that was a challenge for them. And I said, this is when you look at theory. This is when you look at the mental stuff, because what we want to do, and we always want to do, is to be able to go backwards in our playing. We want to reach the limit of what we can do, and then having the discernment, is that a proper word, to be able to pull that back and play tasteful things. Now you'll find that when you go on, glasses are steaming up, when you go on Facebook groups, you'll find that people say, oh no, that guy's playing way too fast. He's got no soul. I'm misting up there. He's got no soul. He's not playing with any feel. All the notes are too fast and everything. Actually, that's a good thing, because you can always pare that back. You can always pull that skill set backwards and focus on putting emotion into the notes. So it becomes this thing where you have that in reserve. You can play speedy bursts, you can play little shreddy things and intermingle it with your choice notes, the notes that you are making and seeking melody. You know, the ones that people like, the Dave Gilmour thing, because people love Dave Gilmour for some reason. And what's the reason? It's because he's melodic. There's every now and then he'll do a little spurt of speed just to contrast the slow melodic stuff. So you need that fast technique. So if you need that with the physical aspect of playing guitar, the mental aspect of playing guitar is that you need to have the theory in your head so that you can roll it back. People who say that music theory, you don't need it, Jimi Hendrix didn't need it and everything else like that, well, that's fine for them, because to be honest, those guys were there first. Nobody had heard those sounds before. They probably just stumbled upon these ideas, and they borrowed these ideas from other guitarists as well. So I'd say you need to be able to take this theory and roll it back. I've got some videos coming up that are going to be intense theory stuff, but the idea is that you're going to be able to roll it back and be able to use it to find the sweet notes, to find the melodic notes, to find all those things that make your ears perk up when you hear a song and you go, that's the business, that's the one, that's what I want to sound like. Because what we have is, we have an imprint of how we want to sound in our mind. We have that, and we're trying to chase that idea of, I want to sound like Uli John Roth, or I want to sound like Michael Schenker. I've always wanted to sound like Michael Schenker. I love Michael Schenker. But I also want to sound like a load of blues guys as well. And what you do is you put that all into that melting pot, and that's how you find your own voice. You know, your voice is borrowed from other people as well. So really, what I'm saying in this is that you need to learn the technique facilitates all the emotion that you want to put into the music. Technique is something that you really need to focus on at first. Theory, less so. Focus on making some sounds that you like, that people around you say, I recognise that. That's cool. I remember that song. I like that one. And what you've done is you've cheered that person up for that like nanosecond, and that recognition of somebody saying, oh, I remember that. That's confirmation that you're on track. Yeah, so now you know you're on track, then that's when you need to start thinking to yourself, all right, okay, I'm building up a little repertoire of bits and bobs that I can play that I recognise and I feel comfortable with, and then other people recognise. You know, and don't feel bad about repeating things over and over again, because I get a lot of students who said over the years, you know, yeah, but I just seem to play the same things over and over again. Well, the feeling might be that you have to play new things all the time, but you don't. Because the thing is, as long as it's delighting you and making you happy, job done. Because if you're going to get esoteric here, because if you jumped off the planet, jumped into space and looked down, you know, we're on a rock revolving around a ball of fire in the middle of infinity, you know, that thought disappears really, because that's coming from worrying about what other people think. The main thing is you're doing guitar because it's to make you happy. So don't feel any pressure in that respect, but I'm just saying that if you have a goal, that you have a sound in your head that you want to achieve, then if it's got bursts of shreddy stuff, if it sounds technical, then you're gonna have to do those things, those challenging things, the technique and the theory, and then you can roll them back, and then you can match that sound that's in your head, and you will become the player that you want to be.